Homecoming 2018 as the Lewisville Fighting Farmers take on the Nimitz Vikings at Joy and Ralph Ellis Stadium. Hey everybody, Rob Willman with you along with John Nelson as we take a look at the Nimitz Vikings as they came onto the field. They won the flip of the coin and they have deferred and they will kick off against Lewisville. This is only the third time these two teams have met. We'll talk about the series later on, but some streaks here going into tonight's game is the fact that Lewisville has won 3 in a row, and Nimitz, on the other hand, has lost 4 in a row, and they're trying to break the skid against Lewisville here on a homecoming night and a beautiful night. Boy, after a couple of weeks of rain, it is perfect, and with the call is John Nelson.
All right, Rob, week 8 of the 2018 high school football season. The short kickoff return taken to the 15, out of the 30, 35, still on his feet, and finally twisted down at the 38-yard line. Number 5 on the return, Dalen Clark. Clark also a quarterback on defense, and that's where we begin. Fighting Farmers coming off a huge win last week. We'll get to that in just a minute, Rob.
And here are the starting lineups. Nelson, Jones, Huddleston, Nielsen, and Spencer Nielsen on the right side of that offensive line. And you've got Newsom at the quarterback spot. Lockhart, Clark, Winfield, Ellis, and Adams at the skilled positions. They can score a lot of points. They've scored 61 just last week.
Inside handoff, running room 45, and a quick gain of 8. That's Clark. Lewisville coming off a 61-10 last week over the Irving Tigers. They won 3 in a row, averaging 26 points a game. On the year, 5-2, and a nice start at 3-1 in district. Second down and a couple. The Fighting Farmers scrimmage at their own 46. Offensively, Lewisville averaging 271 yards a game. The lefty, the southpaw in the shotgun, A.J. Newsom. He'll turn up the middle and close to a first down, number 20, Josh Lockhart. And on the stop, Juan Sands. And enough for a first down.
They're not taking much time between snaps.
Lockhart thrown down at midfield and a quick gain of 2 yards. Now Nimitz giving up 30 points a game this year.
That was Sands, who is all over the place defensively. Henry, Salazar, Cruz, the 3. Oliver Sands, who just made the tackle. McGee and Medeiros are your linebackers. Evans, Wheeler, Collins, and Dadon Evans, your safety in the secondary for Nimitz.
Josh Lockhart alongside A.J. Newsom. Here's Lockhart over the right side, and Lockhart double teamed at midfield. Not much at all. First man through, Jalen Oliver.
That hole opened and closed in a hurry. Oliver had a great game last week against MacArthur in a losing effort, as well as Sands. They were the top 2 defensive players. And Lockhart had a hole at the beginning, but the pursuit caught up with him.
Third down and needing 7 at the Viking 49. In motion is Kincaid. Newsom looking, loading up, going deep, and overshoots his receiver at the 20-yard line, trying to get her to Amani Winfield.
Once again, Luis Cruz, who made the first tackle of the ball game as a defensive lineman, that time putting the pressure on the quarterback. Newsom has a gun, doesn't he? He just overthrew his receiver.
Luke Salvatore in punt formation. And back deep for Nimitz, number 5, Brandon Wheeler. Wheeler, a sophomore, one of 6 for head coach Brian Rogers this year. Salvatore, high snap, reaches up, pulls it down, under duress, gets rid of it, end over end, hits it to 25, takes a favorable Lewisville hop of about 8 yards, and finally caught at the 15-yard line by Wheeler.
Well, John, not only did they almost block it, but the good thing about the almost is the fact that they did not run into the kicker with the momentum. Watch here, a high snap brought down pretty nicely, and then Oliver and his teammate come crashing apart, but they don't hit the kicker. Pretty good opening series defensively that time for Nimitz.
Vikings trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, averaging 30 points a game and over 400 yards of total offense. 3, maybe 4 close to the 19-yard line on the first handoff of the game. There's a look at the Viking Farmer defensive alignment. That's number 10, Aiden Ponce, as a passer this year, completing 56%.
Well, John Sands is in at running back, not Nelms. I'm looking on the sideline. He's got the helmet in his hand. Don't know, perhaps maybe he's going to have to sit out a quarter or two. Something maybe happened during the week, but he's not injured.
Juan Sands, one of the leading tacklers on defense. And there's Ponce. Ponce wrapped up at the 26-yard line. Be a couple of yards short. Aiden has 2 touchdown passes this year.
And offensively for the Nimitz Vikings, we talked about the quarterback. The guys up front, Armahil, Escobar, Herrera, Rodriguez, and Flores. Ponce starts. Jernigan, Bennett, Wheeler, and Sanchez are your receivers for Nimitz. We'll keep an eye out more on Nelms to see if he comes back into play or not.
Chris Bennett wide right on 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. And close to the 30, that's Sands. Nimitz this year with they're top heavy in seniors, 24, 19 juniors and 6 sophomores. A team that went 1-9 last year, 0-7 in district. The Vikings check in with an overall mark of 3-4 and still looking for district win number 1.
We talk about Nelms not playing. Here's a guy that's like second in the Metroplex in rushing. I look at the team stats, and Sands hadn't carried the ball at all coming into tonight's game.
Ponce, short of the 30, jerked down by Jacoby Lewis, the outside linebacker, number 11. Just underway, no score.
I don't think it will take the Farmers long to figure out who's back there and change up maybe perhaps their defensive lineup or scheme to where they're going to force the Vikings to pass the ball more often.
3rd down and needing 7 at the 29. Aiden Ponce, he'll turn, look over the middle, has a man wide open, caught at the 40. Out to the 43-yard line is Mac Evans. Evans is senior and a 1st down for the Vikings.
Well done. Just a crossing pattern. Nobody was around him.
Wheeler and Jalen Jernigan wide left on 1st and 10 at the 43.
Some fresh faces for the Vikings here in the first series.
Still looking for Nelms. Ponce throws. It is caught inside by Wheeler. And Wheeler to midfield. Or check that number 8, Jernigan. Jalen Jernigan, who has 4 touchdown catches this year. Guarded by Kevin Anderson. A lot of all-district performers on defense return for Lewisville this year. They got 3 first-teamers and 1 second-teamer from last year. At the 49, 2nd down and short, needing a couple. Ponce will take it himself and close. Needs to get to the 47-yard line.
I think they gave it to him.
And just enough, so move the sticks and another 1st down for Nimitz.
Interesting on this first series, you've got Evans out there who hasn't played offense all year. You've got Sands as a running back who hasn't run the football all year. Some fresh faces. Of course, we talked about last week Chance Hernandez with the stress fracture on the wrist. Their starting quarterback was out after 3 weeks, and Ponce's had to take over, and so far they're doing well.
At the 46, Ponce on the nice fake to Sands will keep it and glide forward for about a yard.
The thing about Ponce, he's such a big quarterback. He's built kind of like a linebacker out there. He gets a couple of yards worth of momentum. Once he makes contact with the defender, he 9 times out of 10 is going to push him in positive yardage 2 or 3 more yards.
Now, Lewisville has the number 1 scoring defense in the district. Overall, they give up 20 points a game. Ponce and spun down at the 39. It'll be about 3 yards short.
That one not as effective as plays earlier.
at the 39, needing 3 on third down from the gun. Ponce may change, looking over at the near sidelines. Head coach Brian Rogers and his staff may have changed the play. Under 5 minutes in a fast-moving first quarter. On third down, Ponce will throw. It is tipped, and trying to get to it is the defender and the receiver. And it falls in front of Jernigan, number 8. Bring up fourth down.
Jernigan had to turn around and play defensive back on that play. Let's watch here. It's just a little quick out, and getting a hand on it was one of the Farmers, and Jernigan had to make sure he didn't do any more damage with it. Laid a pretty good shoulder into him.
On fourth down, they'll flood the receivers all over the place, needing 3 yards at the 39. Aiden Ponce, and here is Sands. Sands has the first down, keeps churning forward for another 3 yards. Fighting Farmers say that he lost the football, but it didn't go that way. Held on to it, and a first down. Juan Sands, a senior running back.
What an effort by Sands, and what a gutsy call on fourth down, John.
It's a nice blast forward. Now Edgar Sanchez, one of the wideouts to the right. The play clock not in order in the south end zone. Ponce on the keeper, trying to get to the edge, and buckled down at the 27. Taken down first by Kevin Anderson, number 2. One of the leading tacklers. In fact, he was the leading tackler last year.
Coming right at you on the near sideline where he fakes it to Sands, and he indecisive on whether he should have cut up or rolled outside a little bit. You watched him lose the football toward the end. He was already down, but picks up 6 and gives his offense good field position and a good second down and short.
Second and needing 4 at the 27. Sands up the middle and not much. He'll be about 2 yards short. Contact underneath by Mung, number 50, Eli Mung. And a couple of others, maybe Earl Barnes there, number 32. Sets up third down and needing 3. And again, we do not see Christian Nelms, the senior running back, who had a nice gain of over 200 yards this year against Newman Smith. 253 to be exact. There were some problems towards the end of the game last week between Mack and Nimitz. Ponce, high steps, and should have a first down. The pile moves forward, and he will at the 21. Nice drive that started at the 16-yard line. Right in the teeth of the Fighting Farmer defense. They give up 278 total yards a game.
So far, 7 minutes have gone by in this first possession for Nimitz. Ponce carrying the bulk of this with that 2 good passes and running it himself for 27 yards so far.
Ponce will keep and toss down, still holding on, and finally goes down at the 25. It was number 8 that got to him first, Amaise Nwamo.
Nwamo would not let go, had a hold of his waist, and we talked about Pence and how tough he is to bring down, but had him by the waist and just spun him down to the ground, and now they have one of their few second and long situations here on this opening drive.
Mac Evans, number 4, and number 8, Jalen Jernigan, wide left on 2nd and 11. Ponce looking left. He floats it out in the flat. This is Wheeler. Wheeler trying to pick up a couple of blocks and loses yardage back to the 26. Wheeler, also a quarterback on defense, has 6 touchdown catches this year. And that'll bring up third and long. Third and needing close to 16 yards.
Back-to-back negative plays for the first time on this opening series. They want to get out of field goal range.
Sanchez and Wheeler wide right on third and long. Ponce, the fake to Sands, looks over the left side, has a completion inside the 10-yard line, inside the 5. That's Mac Evans, went up high and took it away from the defender.
Man, Evans did a great job just elevating himself on the pass above the defenders for the first down. Watch it again in the secondary. Look at there, just climbs the ladder and almost scores.
It's 1st and goal, Nimitz at the Lewisville 4. Ponce, he will keep it after the fake to Sands and find the end zone. The Vikings strike first on a 4-yard Aiden Ponce run.
What an impressive drive, John. 16 plays. A drive that started at their own 15. They use up 9 minutes and score first.
You can't ask for more, starting at their own 16-yard line. And a 6-0 lead. Edgar Sanchez will try to make it 7-0. He does as he boots it through. And the Nimitz Vikings on top 7-0.
Well, this is what happened most of the drive, and it's Ponce, the quarterback. Gets a good downfield block by Jernigan, number 8. Watch it on the edge. Everyone blocks down defensively on the line. Wide receivers do their part. And Ponce is into the end zone. And the Vikings take an early lead.
Following a Lewisville punt, Nimitz goes 84 yards. And they lead early. Nimitz came in averaging 30 a game. They opened up the year winning their first 3 and scoring 50 or more points in 2 of those first 3 games. Lost the district opener to Lewisville Hebron 40-21. And we'll kick off for the second time here. And a happy bunch of Vikes taking that early lead. Number 17, Edgar Sanchez, has it teed up at the North 40. It's a spinner and collected at the 9-yard line by Dalen Clark. Clark 25-30. 35, trying to get to the outside. He does. Clark over midfield, and Clark runs out of bounds. One of the officials goes down as well near midfield. Nice return of close to 40 yards by Dalen Clark, all-district performer last year.
Had a lot of room once he hit the edge. If you're Nimitz, you want to have a short memory, because it was just 2 weeks ago they were taking on Flower Mound, had an early lead, went for 2, and then everything cratered after that. So let's see if the defensive guys can play just as tough as they did that first series.
Second series for A.J. Newsom. He will fire short out on the near side. Had a couple of receivers. Number 13 was the inside man, Kincaid. And you also had Nwamo, number 9, Winfield, in that area as well. Second and a dime from the 49.
Well, Kincaid was the intended target, and he locked up and got tripped up with one of the Viking defenders. It's one of those non-calls. Good call. And
Newsom over the middle and through the hands at the 40-yard line. That's number 6, Santil.
Well, John, the Farmers have kind of had the dropsies here in the early go, as Michael Odell there, the Lewisville head coach, second season, led the Farmers to a state championship as a quarterback back in '96 when they were 5A. Played baseball at Brookhaven.
3rd and 10. Newsom empties the backfield, scrambling, throws off the back foot, and leads the receiver by about 2 yards. Trying to get it to number 9, Armani Winfield, and it's 4th down.
Well, credit Sands. We talk about him offensively as the running back, but his forte is the linebacker spot, and he came blitzing in from the weak side, and he kept Newsom on the run, and he really couldn't plant the foot and make a very good throw. And so far, the Vikings are keeping the Farmers on edge here in the early go.
Their second stop, Luke Salvatore in punt formation. Brandon Wheeler back deep for Nimitz, standing at his own 15. A running punt, and Wheeler comes up. This one avoids Wheeler, continues to roll inside the 5, and will be down near the 2-yard line. So Nimitz will start deep in their own territory for the second possession. They're going to spot it right at the 1. Was that 50 yards? Close to 50 yards.
Great punt. It's almost like the latest craze in punters.
The run?
Like the run, the Australian rules football type punters that run and kick. The positive is when you do that, the ball more times than not goes end over end, so when it bounces, it just continues to roll, and that was the case right there.
You just hope it bounces right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Juan Sands, number 20, stays in the backfield. In fact, he's 4 yards deep in the end zone, and he will have it right up the middle and gain a couple of yards.
Tossed down by Cadron Johnson, the defensive end. Didn't give him a lot of room.
2nd and 8. The offensive line this year, all seniors, and that is the end of the first quarter, so they'll go 97 yards the other way as they change ends. Our first quarter score on our ICT and Game of the Week, Nimitz 7, Lewisville nothing. First play of the second stanza, leading 7-0 from the 3-yard line. 2nd down and 8, and fighting to get to the 5. And doing so will set up 3rd down. And needing 6, number 20, Juan Sands. What is that, about his 8th carry?
His 5th. It's Ponce that's carried the load. He's carried it 10 times so far in the ball game. But I've really been impressed by Evans. He's got a 14-yarder and a 17-yard reception.
From just across the 10-yard line on 3rd down, they stay to the ground. Ponce rides it out, trying to get to the 9. That'll leave him a couple of yards short. Hangs on to it and helps number 18 up off the turf, Cadron Johnson.
Playing it safe.
Punt team comes on, 4th down. Fighting Farmers will send Dalen Clark back deep. And from the end zone, number 42, Julio Reyes. Reyes, the senior, will punt. Very, very high. It's kind of a knuckler and goes out of bounds near the 31-yard line. About a 20-yard punt. If they mark off the angle, it'll be shorter than that.
Look at the team stats coming in, points per game. Nimitz got a lot of that in the first 3 weeks of the season, but they allow about as many as they score, so that's kind of been the improvement they need to look upon tonight. Yards per game, they are a rushing team, whereas Lewisville a little bit more balanced.
Lewisville, enrollment-wise, the biggest school in the district, over 4,500. Coppell is number 2. Viking Farmers were a preseason pick to finish 5th. And right now in 2nd place in District 6. From the 30, following a short punt, and a great opportunity for quarterback A.J. Newsom. There he is, the lefty, warming up, fires, and caught and dropped at the 18-yard line. Number 9, Armani Winfield.
Newsom now 0 for 5. His receivers, just with a bad case of the dropsies on half of those. He hit him in the hands.
Winfield, a freshman, one of 2 on the varsity roster. Their only district loss came in the opener. District opener to Flower Mound, 35-27. So Lewisville could very easily be 4-1 in district. Going deep. Newsom into double coverage and knocked down at the 1-yard line.
Too much air underneath it. It allowed the corner and the safety to converge. Brandon Wheeler, 1 of 2 in coverage. Watch it, plenty of time, not a lot of pressure, and the lefty just puts too much underneath it. And it appeared that Wheeler had his hands on it, and the Farmers in turn had to play defensive mode in that situation.
Well, wouldn't this be a stop at your own 30-yard line on 3rd down, leading 10? Newsom with a hard count, drops back, throws to the near side, wide open at the 18-yard line, and a catch for number 5, Dalen Clark, and a first down.
Only the second first down of the night for the Farmers. Probably the first good throw on the money in this first half by Newsom.
They spot it closer to the 17. And a quick opener, Lockhart wrapped up. Not much at all. Number 40, Josh Henry underneath.
That was only the 5th run by Lewisville here in the first half. 7 passes, 5 runs. As they have their 3rd offensive series, they've 3 and out both times.
In fact, they lost a half a yard just outside the 17. On second, in motion is Kincaid. Now comes to a stop. Newsom in trouble and will go down at the 23. In there again is Henry.
Dialing up the blitz. The Vikings D rising to the occasion. The weak side of Newsom, he's a lefty. So unlike a righty where you have the left, it's the right side that is your blind side, and he's wrapped up, and then all the troops arrive. Josh Henry in there as well, the senior. 3rd and what about 15?
3rd and 15 from the 22. Lockhart slotted to the right. This is caught in traffic. This is Clark, 15, 10. Marker down inside the 5. Dalen Clark on the reception, but the penalty came near the 10-yard line.
Looks like Josh Lockhart, number 20, might have been the one holding on the edge.
Holding.
This is going to come back.
Offense, number
correct.
20, 10-yard spot foul. Replay 3rd down.
Bill Tilley is tonight's referee. And it'll cost the Farmers yardage, trailing 7-0 deep in Nimitz's territory.
Penalty-free first half so far. There's the officials. Holmquist, Hendricks, Stimmel, Simpson, Camp, and Parks. Back to the 7-person crew. Wally Banks, the clock operator, telling us they do not have enough officials to go around on Friday nights. And that's why we've seen only 5.
Yeah, some of these chapters are spread thin on Fridays. 3rd and needing a dozen. That penalty came from the spot of the foul near the 11-yard line, and now a timeout taken with 8:44 to go in the first quarter, or second quarter. First time out of the game.
We talked about how this is only the 3rd time that these two teams have met. Hard to believe in those good old days when there was only one high school per city. And, of course, it's not Irving, but it's Nimitz, but yet the way things have worked, it's only been twice, 04, 05. Lewisville winning both, 20-9 and 31-8. I don't think I've seen Lewisville in years. They had some great teams back in Odell's wheelhouse when the head coach was playing at Lewisville. Ronnie Gage, the head coach over there, running the wishbone.
Well, they opened the doors back in 1960, and this is the 1,060th game all time for Lewisville High. Walt Garrison, famous alumnus of that school.
I think Nimitz will need to blitz more and more and put pressure on this quarterback. He's going to get into a rhythm here before it's over.
From the 19, 3rd and 12. Newsom looking deep in the end zone. It is broken up about 7 yards deep. And a flag, a late flag. Had double coverage for the Vikings. You had Evans and Wheeler. And apparently the contact.
Well, did Wheeler not turn around? Is he going to call interference because he played the player and not the ball? You know, unless the receiver pushed off, but looks like it's going to go against Nimitz.
Winfield, number 9, the intended receiver. So they go back to the line of scrimmage.
Pass interference. Number 5 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They mark it off. This will be close to the 4-yard line. Here's another look at it, Rob.
Watch Wheeler, number 5, goes up, face guards, I guess, if they want to call that. Not playing the ball. If he'd have turned his head, maybe they wouldn't have called it. I don't think he pushed on him, per se.
If it was, it wasn't much of a push, just kind of a nudge. But it's a first and goal at the 4-yard line. Trailing 7-0.
And something that the Vikings did quite often last week in their loss against MacArthur, penalties. That's just their first one here in the ball game.
All right, Lockhart and A.J. Newsome. A couple of seniors in the backfield. Lockhart, number 20, trips to the right. Man in motion. As Newsome takes the high snap, he'll give to Lockhart. Lockhart knocked behind the line of scrimmage.
Once again, the Vikings interior linemen have been doing a really solid job stopping the run. Josh Rodriguez, the senior over there on the edge, number 50, one of a couple.
Armijo there, number 58. It'll be second and goal from the 5. Dalen Clark will head wide right. Deshaun Kincaid also wide right.
One-on-one coverage, top of the screen.
Here's Newsome. He's looking right. It's flushed from the pocket and wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's Micah McGee.
Oh, McGee just came blasting through the line of scrimmage, and there's that pressure we talked about, forcing the quarterback to lose about 10. Look at the right side of your screen, wrapping him up well and putting him down to the ground, and now they've got a 3rd and long.
Loss of close to 9 yards. They spotted at the 13. Same setup, same alignment for the Fighting Farmers as Newsome loading up, fires, caught in traffic and close to the goal line. He broke a tackle at the 6, Dalen Clark, and right at the 1-yard line. That was quick. That's how quick that lefty is, A.J. Newsome. Clark.
Well, Nimitz did a good job in the secondary. They were playing like a zone in the corner. He came off his man to cover the receiver crossing, just didn't get there fast enough. And now here we go, 4th and goal.
Matthew Jimenez, the tight end, number 87, comes on. 4th and goal from just outside the 1. And our second timeout of the second quarter.
Little confusion by Lewisville.
This drive started on a short 20-yard punt by Nimitz, started at the Viking 30.
So watch the second. Look at McGee there just to the left, coming through untouched and getting to Newsome in time.
Stepped right around Nielsen, number 72. And had a clear path to the senior quarterback.
We haven't seen any jet sweeps, wide receiver screens, anything of that nature for Lewisville up to this point. Nothing that, replicates a quick hitter, if you will, or quick speed. Maybe it's a quarterback keeper. But so far, the Vikings have done a great job stuffing the middle.
And a stand is needed here on 4th and goal, just outside the 1.
A little confusion on the sideline between the referee and the Lewisville coaches.
Well,
they wanted to sub somebody, and the ref wouldn't let them.
Yeah, they've got Owabanji, Ibrahim Owabanji, number 3.
Oh, maybe it's something he had on. They had to rip it out, and now they've got to use their 3rd timeout.
Jeremy Jones, the offensive guard, was late in coming on, and there's a 3rd timeout.
Jones came on. The official forced him out, made him go back to the sideline, and then he turned around and it's ripped something off like he had something maybe illegal, some sort of pad or something. And once he did that, then he started to come back onto the field, but by then it was too late. That's him there, number 77, Jeremy Jones. So he is rather large, fills the uniform, and they're putting some extra beef there on the right side of the line to make you think, hey, we're going to go to the big side.
They struggled last year. Lewisville finished 2-8 overall, 1-6 in the district. They used to be in that old district with South Lake, Bell, and Trinity. 4th and goal. Oebanji, he's the quarterback fighting for the double stripe and is short.
Oh, there's going to be a late hit on Nimitz.
Here come the flags, 2-3 of them.
Oh, they were just trying to make sure that the player didn't get the yards needed. Let's see if it's after the play and they get to keep possession.
Lewisville did not make the distance for the first down. Dead ball. Number 15, unsportsmanlike conduct, 15-yard penalty, half the distance, first down.
All right, so Rios did get charged with the late hit, but they called a dead ball after the fact. So Nimitz gets to keep the ball.
1st and 10, Nimitz at their own 1. Started from the 1 their last series. So in essence, they held Ponce from the end zone. Sands, a quick blast out to the 3.
We hear that Nelms will get this play starting in the second half. Usually that's some sort of disciplinary action.
That's why they were kind of secretive on a couple players that would not start tonight. Didn't want to reveal that, but now we know. 2nd down and close to 8. Nimitz on top, 7-0, under 6 minutes remaining on this homecoming night in the first half.
Thing here, John, is just don't turn the ball over.
Sands trying to bounce to the outside. Sands to the 10 and a flag drop as soon as Sands is dropped.
He'll be close to a first unless there's a hold against Nimitz.
Face mask.
Number
45 in the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Underneath, you had Cavasi and Pryor on the tackle, but this is on somebody else.
Look at Luke Halter right about there, number 45, going high to make the tackle, grab the face mask, and that's a first down, folks.
It'll move it out to the 24-yard line.
2 penalties for 25 yards against Lewisville.
And now Sands will shift over to the left. Aiden Ponce will give it to Sands. They string it out and a gain of about 2 yards. Not much on first down, but Lewisville out of timeouts. They trailed 7-0.
8 carries, 27 yards for Juan Sands, the primary linebacker turned running back. Not very deep at the running back spot, actually. They will have Wheeler in the backfield along with Sands now, though.
2nd and 8 from the 26. The Fighting Farmers put 7 in the box. This is a passing play in and out of the hands and almost caught on the deflection by Jernigan. Intended for Sanchez, number 17.
Dangerous pass, John. Too many players in the same route area. First incomplete pass of the night thrown by Ponce. Watch it across there to the left, kind of threw it a little behind him. And like you said, there were both a Viking and a Farmer that could possibly get their hands on it.
Mac Evans, number 4, the inside receiver, wide right on 3rd and 8 from the 26. Got twin receivers on either side. The fake to Sands. Ponce looking for running room and is slammed down hard at the 25. Buckled for a half a yard loss.
Lewisville said, hey, we're going to make somebody else beat us. And Ponce's not going to do it. So a good adjustment on the Farmers' part. But at least this time, Nimitz has some breathing room when they go to punt and hopefully get a better one off than they did last time.
That'll bring on the senior Julio Reyes, number 42. Back deep, Dalen Clark. He unloads end over end and takes a Nimitz roll. Clark gets away from it, now scoops it up at the 37-yard line and is buried.
Yep, Vikings believe he fumbled the football. I think there's a tug of war going on under that pile. The officials saying that Lewisville has it, but for a split second, you saw the sideline of Nimitz erupt thinking there was a fumble.
Clark at the last minute decided to pick it up and didn't gain anything and was snowed under at the 37.
Well, the refs are talking something over. There's a yellow flag thrown. You see it there just to the left of your screen.
Maybe a face mask on the pull down or some kind of infraction as soon as Clark went down. We've got 3:51 to go in the first half. And here's a call by Bill Tilley.
Delay game on the return team. Player that signaled a fair catch advanced the ball. 5-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so the fair catch, the player that called the fair catch, you heard there, if you call fair catch and you catch the ball, you can't go anywhere. And he tried to advance it, and that calls for a delay of game penalty, a 5-yarder against Lewisville.
Lockhart remains in the backfield, number 20. A.J. Newsom has thrown for over 550 yards this year. He'll throw on first down. He's got Clark. Clark breaks a tackle beyond midfield and not step out of bounds. And number 5 going to take it for the distance, Dalen Clark.
69 yards on one big play to Clark for the touchdown.
And for Clark, his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. For Newsom, his 5th touchdown throw.
There were 2 officials on each side of the sideline there. I was thinking maybe the Viking was able to push him out of bounds, but official trailing and one in front of the play, both were in front of it, said nope, didn't happen. And after all of that hard work, John, all of those defensive stands, all it takes is one big play.
And it was a quick strike. Peter Chin successful on the PAT. It was close.
Yeah. No deep help. The way this offense is run, you've got guys split to the top and bottom, and oftentimes Nimitz, they'll find themselves in man-to-man defensive situations, and that's what Rios was in there. Tried to get some late help from Mac Evans, the safety. He didn't have quite the good enough angle on Clark, and once Clark broke that second tackle or was able to stay in bounds after the push, next thing you know, it's a touchdown. What, took about 12 seconds.
Not long. You saw Clark
one play
kind of dance and jump over the double stripe and hold the ball way out in front of him. So we're tied up at 7, 3:39 left before halftime. Kevon Bartlett back deep along with Mac Evans. Waiting the kickoff. Shadwell Bakuba, number 40. And this one dropped, retreating, picking it up at the 9-yard line, and not much for Bartlett. Just a sea of gray all over Bartlett, the sophomore.
It seemed like the Vikings were set up properly for the return. Right before the kick, one of the assistant coaches was signaling for one of the deep receivers to get over to the far sideline, and got there a little too late. Lewisville caught the misformation and hit it to the far side.
They'll place it at the 12. Nimitz's 4th possession of the half. Their last 3 possessions, they have started from the 1, and now the 12. The fake to Sands. Ponce rides it out over right tackle and draws a crowd at the 13.
Maybe a yard if he's lucky.
Not much more than that. Clock moving, 3:15 remaining.
His biggest run of the night, a couple of runs for 5 apiece. He's not a breakaway speed quarterback. He's more of a breaking tackle type quarterback.
But if you can just hold your ground and not do anything silly here and go in at the worst tied at 7, you will receive the second half kickoff. Sands, a slant over the right side. He leans forward, has yardage to the 18. Trying to take, Anderson did take it away, but the play call.
Sands used his height to his advantage and just ducked underneath the lineman. No one could see him until he broke through near the 20.
It'll bring up third down. They need a little over 4. Again, the play clock not operating. It is in the north end zone, but not in the south end zone. On third down, Sands has the first down, breaks a tackle at the 25, and Sands tough to bring down as he crosses the 30. Boy, determination, and then some, about 9 yards after contact.
First of all, nice hole. Nice hole at the point of contact. Right here, pulling behind the guard, and then he just starts breaking tackles. There were 2 tackles he broke, and then finally he's drugged down, but Lewisville had 3 or 4 guys grabbing jersey, leg, arms, whatever they could to get him.
And again, this is an all-senior offensive line. Sands up the middle to the 38. Gain of 5. Minute 45 to go in the first half.
50 yards.
Martino, number 66, now on the offensive line.
50 yards for the linebacker turned running back. He's like, I kind of like this.
What a start. So Partita in the offensive line at the tackle position, not much at all. As Sands has stood up and tossed back.
C1, it's not all fun and games here, buddy.
There is a time when, well, it's a good night to get pops.
Okay.
He just did.
We've got a minute to go, John. It's third down. Do you play it safe?
And run wide to take up some time?
Yeah, do you try just to keep the clock running? Because Lewisville doesn't have a timeout. I mean, I think that's what he's going to do. I think Coach Rogers is going to let this run down. And when it gets to a point he doesn't get called for the delay, he's going to call time, and they'll run another play. So
and he just did. It stops it at 41.
You know, you have to know what you can do. You have to know your limitations. You have to know you're in a good spot. You're not really a team set up right now to put a lot of points on the board like you did earlier in the season. I think a lot of people would say this is surprising to see Nimitz tied with Lewisville before the half. I thought a lot of people thought that Lewisville would be up by 2 or 3 touchdowns by now. The standings coming in. There's Lewisville, 3-1, tied with Coppell, 5-2 overall. Flower Mound and Coach Basil, the former MacArthur coach, in first place. Then you got Marcus, Hebron, MacArthur, Nimitz, Irving. And we'll have Marcus next week on ICTN. They'll take on MacArthur. That should be a good game.
Lewisville beat Coppell a couple of weeks ago. Close contest, winning 13-6. But the matter at hand here, 3rd and 5. Scrimmaging from their own 38. Ponce will keep it, move forward close to the 43. If he has yardage at the 43, it's a first down.
No, he's short. He is about the length of a football shy, and I bet they just let it run. What do you bet?
Content with that.
You bet. He's bringing them over.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Rogers says, hey, we get the kickoff in the second half. We've played these guys great. We should get our all-everything running back to start the second half. And so we feel good about ourselves. In fact, they're heading to the locker room before the clock reads nothing but zeros.
Well, Nimitz scored on his first possession. Lewisville got points on possession number 4. A very entertaining first half here at Joy and Ralph Ellis Stadium. Homecoming night for the Nimitz Vikings. They are tied with Lewisville at 7. Back with our halftime activities, our highlights and stats on our ICTN Game of the Week.
It's homecoming 2018 for the Nimitz Vikings. And right now, a surprise score coming in 7-7 at the break. And with homecoming, of course, we have the announcement of the homecoming queen. But first, the homecoming queen and her court introductions. Let's go down to the field.
She hopes to attend UCLA and become a cardiac surgeon. Next, we have freshman prince Braylon Dillard. Braylon is unable to be here tonight due to a family obligation. Our next freshman princess is Melina Wynn. She is being escorted by Jennifer Wynn. She is a member of the Drumline and is a JV cheerleader. She wants to attend the University of Texas at Austin and major in art and design. Next, we have freshman prince Christian Arguelles. He is being escorted by Judith Torres. He is a member of the football team as a starting linebacker. One day, he hopes to be a master electrician. Our last freshman princess is Marissa Bravo. She is being escorted by her brother, Ronaldo Bravo. She is a JV cheerleader and plans to go to college to become an orthopedic surgeon. Our last freshman prince is Elijah Hernandez. He is escorted by his parents and his brother Chance and sister Zoe. He likes to play football and basketball and plans to play sports in college. Our first sophomore princess is Miss Alyssa Gonzalez. She is escorted tonight by Anthony and Marcy Gonzalez. She is a member of the girls' junior varsity track team and enjoys dancing, drawing, and photography. She plans on attending college and becoming an anesthesiologist. Our first sophomore prince is Mr. Alex Savick. He is unable to be with us tonight due to illness. Next is sophomore princess, Miss Caitlin Cartwright. She is escorted tonight by Will and Kristen Cartwright. Caitlin is a Nimitz cheerleader and an active member of the youth group at Oakview Baptist Church. She hopes to attend a TCU and become a special education teacher. Next is sophomore Mr. Chris Bennett. He is escorted tonight by his grandfather, Horace Jones, and his mother, Michelle Bennett. He is a member of the varsity football team and plans to attend college and hopefully continue to play football at the collegiate level. Our last sophomore princess is Miss Kristen Rodriguez. She is escorted by Paul and Deborah Rodriguez and her brother and sister. She is a member of the varsity softball team and hopes to attend Texas State and major in nursing. Our final sophomore prince is Mr. Felipe Sorto. He is escorted by his parents, Maria and Jose Sorto. He is on the leadership team for band and participates as a musician at his church. He hopes to attend Baylor University and major in architecture. Now our junior homecoming court. Starting with junior princess, Miss Ana Santos. She is escorted by her parents, Ana Maria and Miguel Santos. She is the Nimitz cheerleading manager. She loves doing makeup and plans to attend a cosmetology school after high school. She hopes to start her own makeup line one day. Our first junior prince is Mr. Adam Salinas. He is being escorted by Jennifer and Aniston Burns, Carlos Salinas, and Stephen Yarborough. Adam is currently fighting and winning his battle against cancer, one day at a time. He is a warrior in every sense of the word. He plans to attend LSU and research new ways to help cancer patients. Next is junior princess Miss Cameron Franco. She is escorted by her grandfather, Bobby Cobb, and her uncle, Chris Cobb. She is a member of the Nimitz soccer team. She is also a swim instructor at the YMCA and a gymnastics coach at KTI Studios. She hopes to attend Dallas Baptist University and study family law. Next is Junior Prince, Mr. Anthony Huynh. He is escorted by Miss Adrian Harris. He is the head cheer captain for Nimitz, a varsity tennis player, and the spirit captain for the class of 2020. He hopes to attend Baylor University and cheer at the collegiate level. He would like to come back to Irving ISD as a cheer coach upon graduation from college. Next is Junior Princess, Miss Isabella Marquez. She is escorted by her mother, Gloria Oliva, and her two brothers. She is a varsity cheerleader. She plans to attend UNT to study criminal justice, music, and theater. She wants to be able to support her mother for everything she has done for her. Our last Junior Prince is Mr. Lane Thompson. He is escorted by his parents, grandparents, and sister. He is a band low-reed section leader and a drill instructor for the Nimitz Marching Band. His interests include bowling and sign language and interpreting for others. He plans to attend college, where he hopes to bowl at the collegiate level and hopefully one day at the professional level. Our last Junior Princess is Miss Naomi Benitez. She is escorted by Luz and Sebastian Benitez. She is a varsity cheerleader, a member of DECA, and hopes to attend the University of Texas at Arlington after graduation. Finally, our senior princesses and princes. There are 5 senior princesses and 5 princes. We start with senior princess, Miss Alessandra Morales. She is escorted by Sandra and Neftali Morales. She is a member of the Viking crew, the National Honor Society, the National Technical Honor Society, and the Texas Association of Future Educators. She also serves as a class officer. She plans to attend Texas Women's University and become a dentist. Next is Senior Prince Mr. Adrian Hernandez. He is escorted by Sonia and Sebastian Hernandez. He likes to volunteer at school and within the community. He likes to play the drums and plans to attend the University of Texas at Arlington after graduation. Next is our Senior Princess, Miss Guadalupe Solorzano. She is escorted by her biology teacher, Miss Cooper, and her best friends, Tiffany Marie Naves and Monica Salazar. She is a member of the Viking crew. After graduation, she plans to attend Sam Houston State University and study criminal justice. She is followed by Senior Prince Angel Guerra. He is being escorted tonight by Lilia Garcia and Angela Guerra. After graduation, he plans to attend a technical college to study collision repair. Now is Senior Princess Mia Bravo. She is being escorted by her mother, Rosia Ortega. Mia loves dancing and doing makeup. After graduation, she hopes to attend Texas Christian University and major in accounting. Next is Senior Prince Cain Perez. He is being escorted by Arturo and Dominica Perez. He is a member of the cross-country and track team here at Nimitz. Upon graduation from high school, he hopes to attend Texas Tech and study architecture. He is followed by Senior Princess Miss Sunny Garcia. She is escorted by her parents, Rafael and Julia Garcia. She is a member of the Vikings dance team and the National Honor Society. After graduation, she plans to attend college and hopefully own her own business one day. Next is Senior Prince Derek Perez. He is escorted by his sister Elizabeth Perez. He is a member of the King's dance team and is involved in theater where he performs in school productions. His hobbies include dancing and singing. Upon graduation from high school, he hopes to break into the music industry and become a performing singer. Next, we have Princess Miss Stephanie Alfaro Zelaya. She is escorted by Jose Zelaya. She is the captain of the Vikings dance team. She is also a member of the National Honor Society. After graduation, she plans to attend Texas Women's University and study pre-medicine. Our final member of the homecoming court is Senior Prince Noah Perez. Noah is being escorted by his mother Jennifer Perez and his sister Ashley Balderas. Noah is a member of the bowling and baseball teams. He is co-treasurer of the National Honor Society. After graduation, Noah plans to attend Angelo State University to obtain a degree in sports management and then attend law school. Ladies and gentlemen, one more hand for your homecoming court. Now we will have the crowning of the Queen by Nimitz Assistant Principal Wendy Trammell. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Valhalla Homecoming Queen is Miss Sunny Garcia. And now, the 2018 Homecoming King will be announced at the Homecoming Dance Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2018 Valhalla Homecoming Court. Please welcome them and congratulate them one more time.
Congratulations to Sunny Garcia, the 2018 Nimitz Vikings Homecoming Queen on October 25th here in Irving, Texas. Congratulations, Sunny, and congratulations to everyone there that was part of the Homecoming Queen in their court and all the introductions. We appreciate that, and good luck to everyone in the future. All right, let's go ahead and look at some halftime highlights, if you will. First of all, the Nimitz Vikings, they score first with 48 seconds left in the first quarter. It's Ponce on the keeper. 85-yard drive, 16 plays in all. Used up almost 9 minutes of the first quarter, and they're on top 7-0. They also have a nice little defensive stand, too. Fourth down from inside the 5. Antonio Duran hits him first. Sands second. Stands him up again from ground level. Duran hits him. Sands finishes him off, and Nimitz keeps Lewisville out of the end zone, but not for long. One big strike is all it takes. A.J. Newsom to Dalen Clark, 69 yards in all. One play ties this ball game up at 7 apiece. At one time, you thought maybe he stepped out of bounds right about there, but he kept his balance, stayed in bounds. The extra point was true, and that's where we stand right now, 7-7. The stats, pretty much what you would expect, I guess. You know, pretty even. The Vikings did play ball control, therefore they have 4 more first downs. Not a lot of passing. The Farmers did drop a few passes. Total yards 109 to 138. No turnovers by either team. Farmers had 3 penalties for 40 yards. Vikings had just 1. It was costly, though. It was during that goal line stand. And they were backed up way back to about their own 1-yard line, but it didn't do them any harm. Can't do that here in the second half. There are the Farmers about to come onto the field. The Vikings are on the field. They will take the opening kick of the second half. They'll have the football first. We'll see if Nelms comes out there. Well, a full moon over the stadium. Homecoming 2018 for the Vikings. They're tied with Lewisville. A very shocking, I think, and surprising first half. Can the Viking defense play just as stellar as they did in the first half? Well, John Nelson's going to let us know. He has the call.
All Hallows Eve upon us. A nice shot of a full moon on this late October evening. Number 4, Mac Evans, back deep with Kevon Bartlett as Lewisville kicks off, and our second half is underway and fielded by Bartlett across the 20-25 and knocked down hard near the 27-yard line. Nimitz and Lewisville each had 4 possessions in the first half. Officially spotted at the 27. And if we do see Nelms, Mr. Willman, I would think it would be a steady diet and a handoff to number 6, and he will start the second half.
Now I believe the Farmers are going to see something totally different. Another step, if you will, trying to tackle someone coming across the line.
Christian Nelms, 6 100-yard rushing games this year. His first carry will result in a 3-yard loss, tossed down hard at the 22.
Well, maybe not. You think they were ready for that?
Had a target on his back. They spotted at the 23. Loss of 4. Nelms with over 1,100 yards of rushing. Had 253 steps earlier this year in a game against Newman Smith.
5-yard loss.
Rethinking that first play, maybe Ponce should have just kept it.
Second and officially 15. And a marked man again. Nelms twisted down hard by a couple of fighting farmers and not much at all. Couldn't tell who led the surge. Number 18.
That was Johnson. Yeah, number 18, the defensive end, Cadron Johnson. We've called his name a couple of times tonight. On the edge. Both times the defensive ends have cracked down and kept Nelms from getting any type of yardage.
3rd and 15 from the 23. Ponce in trouble. Will keep it. He turns it upfield and maybe to the 25. So on this series, the Vikings lose 2 yards. They'll have to give it up.
Well, the momentum that they somewhat gained in the first half fizzles out pretty quickly here in their first possession.
Julio Reyes, number 42, into punt on the first series. Back deep, Dalen Clark just beyond midfield. So the Farmers have held, again, the number 1 scoring defense in the district. Clark will come up, fields it at the 40, juggles it, regains possession, crosses midfield, and is hit hard at the 45 of Nimitz. So that is where Lewisville starts the second half. Nice return by Dalen Clark on the receiving end of that touchdown pass in the first half.
Lewisville getting used to starting in Nimitz's end of the field, although might have a flag way back, what, at the 40 or not? No. Just the beanbag to say where he caught the football to start the return.
All right. A.J. Newsom, a 46% completion rate, closing in on 600 yards of passing this year. Lockhart in the backfield. Newsom will sprint out. He will throw deep on the run. Has the receiver, but well out of bounds. Intended for Clark. Near the 10-yard line, but that one about 10 yards out of bounds, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
I pretty much think every play that he goes back to pass like that they're just one step away of breaking some big play. We saw it with their only touchdown. First time we've seen him actually not just drop back, but actually roll out of the pocket.
As you said, Rob, they had a ton of drops in the first half. Dylan Adams and Dalen Clark wide right. On 2nd and 10, they scrimmage from the Nimitz 45. Newsom, play action. A lefty guns it, caught at the 34 to the 32-yard line. A nice first down catch. A trio of Vikings there to bend back Deshaun Kincaid, number 13.
Kincaid just ran a little hook pattern just to the right of your screen, goes 12 and just kind of sits down in the seam there in between the Viking defenders.
1st and 10 at the 32. Newsom swings it out right side. This is Kincaid. Kincaid breaks a tackle, goes down to the 20-yard line. And slow to get up is Mac Evans, number 4. Also have another player down. That's Micah McGee, number 11. He's up finally. Hard tackling near that 20-yard line. Another first down.
Well, I was wondering when the Farmers would start to pretty much get into a groove, and it seems like they're just going to the intermediate passes, flushing him out of the pocket, and it's working well.
Swing pass caught behind the line of scrimmage, and here come the Vikings all over, and they continue to push it back. That's number 5, Clark. Going nowhere fast. That was Sands underneath. Sands came in with 57 tackles, had 90 last year. Byron Collins leads the team in tackles with 72. And now Sands is down. He's in a sitting position, and here comes the training staff.
Maybe a Charlie horse.
Well, he ran to get in coverage and then just took a seat at the 22-yard line.
He did a lot in the first half, had to play for Nelms. Played both ways, both linebacker and running back. He had a normal halftime, but, you know, if you don't stretch, first time you get out there, you get all cramped up as he starts to stand up, a little ginger walking, and he wanted out and didn't make it in time before, there he is right there, say, hey, I need to sub, I'm not feeling well.
There you see Collins, or Oliver, number 1, Jalen Oliver. He's had a nice defensive year with 59 total tackles. 2nd and 13 facing the Fighting Farmers at the 23 of Nimitz. Sideline left, open field right for number 4, A.J. Newsom. Takes a snap, drops back, fires to the other side, caught at the 13-yard line on the run. That's Winfield, number 9. Again, the Fighting Farmers have won 3 in a row. Nimitz has dropped their last 4, so something has to give tonight. 3rd and short. Newsom flares it out. Clark to the 10-yard line.
Newsom's pass complete to Dalen Clark.
And they're going to give him the 9. And that should be a first down. And it is. It's 1st and goal at the 9.
Just a nickel and dime offense, Sean. 5 here, 10 there, 5 here. Sprinting it around.
Safety valve passes. Here's a handoff. Here's a quick 9-yard burst. Almost untouched. Josh Lockhart. 9 yards to pay dirt, and Lewisville takes the lead.
How much do you think they miss Sands, who plays right where he ran? Just right up the middle. No one there to touch him. I mean, he had 8 yards in the first half, and that one looked easy.
A 9-yard blast, and Lockhart makes it 13-7. The extra point is high enough. It is good. 14-7 lead.
Lockhart right up the middle, pushed down by the left guard, and there was a gaping hole for him to run on the left side, our right, as he's coming toward you. And the Farmers waste little time, John. They, about a minute and 30 seconds to go 55 yards. Took them 6 plays, and most of those were just little 10-yard passes, swing pass, receiver screen pass, and they got in a rhythm. First time tonight we've actually seen the offense for Lewisville in a rhythm. Before that, they just seemed like they weren't on the same page. Nimitz seemed to be where they needed to be defensively, and this time Lewisville takes care of business.
So you're right. They went deep once, but for the most part it was those short, high percentage passes. 14-7, Lewisville on top. Came in averaging 26 points a game. Nimitz came in giving up 30. Nimitz will have a game with Irving High next week, our ICT and Game of the Week. Marcus and the Cardinals. Over the head of Wheeler will come out to the 25. On the touchback, Nimitz with its second possession. Now down by a touchdown and an extra point. Came in averaging over 400 yards of offense. This is game number 8. 0-4 in district. Lewisville tied with Coppell at 3-1 for second place in District 6. Vikings will close out the year right here at Ralph Ellis Stadium against the Cowboys of Coppell on November the 9th. From the 25, Ponce from the gun, pumps once, looking, and just throws it away. Was hit hard as soon as he let it go in the area. Number 18, Johnson.
Well, he was not outside the box. There was no one to throw it to, I believe. Farmers coach is halfway out on the field wanting a flag for intentional grounding. I think he got lucky there.
Yeah, wasn't a blue jersey within 12 yards.
No.
Dalen Clark in the secondary comes out. There's Christian Nelms. Bottled up in the first series by the Fighting Farmer D. 2nd and 10 from the 25 and hold everything. Timeout taken by the Vikings. Their first as they talk it over, facing a 2nd and 10 at the 25.
For Nelms, he is 2nd in the DFW Metroplex, coming in and rushing. There are the list of the top 5. South Garland leading the way, but Christian Nelms at 1,200 yards. South Lake Carroll's McDonald gets a lot of pub. You hear a lot about TJ. You know the runner for Lamar, since you
yes,
in your parts.
They're unbeaten at 7-0. Have a nice quarterback this year and a solid running game.
And Prosper, who would think Prosper would be 6A?
They live up to their town's name.
Well, they're doing quite well in football and everything else. But right now, the Vikings need to get their offensive mind in gear and their head straight and try to get something to work offensively.
Yeah, 2nd and 10. Ponce will keep it wrapped up with the line of scrimmage. No gain at all.
Well, credit Versi, the junior, number 33, who read the play, stayed at home. Watch to the left of your screen. Watch 33 right there at the line of scrimmage and wrap him up.
Going to give him a yard, maybe half a yard, 3rd down and just over 9. To the near side, Jalen Jernigan, number 8. Ponce drops back, look out, backside, gets rid of it and overthrows his receiver at the 31-yard line. That was Jernigan coming across. And Nimitz will have to give it up on its 2nd possession.
Just didn't have much time. Rush is getting to the senior quarterback. And momentum starting to shift a little, John, here. I think if Lewisville takes his possession and scores, could be a long night for the Vikings.
Reyes in punt formation. Dalen Clark near midfield. This one is away from Clark and away from everyone else. It's caught by Jernigan near the sideline.
Kind of sums up this last offensive series for Nimitz. Here's Ponce. You need to let go of it about here. He's trying to hit Jernigan on a crossing pattern, but as he's running to his right, he can't set, throws behind Jernigan, who's been pretty quiet tonight. And once again, John, Lewisville starting in the purples into the field.
It's a punt of 19 yards from the 45. That's where Lewisville begins this series. 3 receivers to the near side. Newsom looks over at the bench. Well, the play clock's operating. Play clock now down to 9. So they're both in sync. Lockhart up the middle, 40. And Lockhart rips off about 7 yards. And slow to get up for 44, Duran. In fact, he's not. Still down, Antonio Duran, number 44, Duran, sophomore.
Yeah, he was the one that got the first hit on the goal line stand back in the first half to keep the Farmers out of the end zone. The first time they got close. It's good to see that Sands, number 20, is back in the lineup, the linebacker. So more than likely it was a cramp. Look to the left, bottom of the pile, the big left tackle's driving him hard, and he comes across to make the tackle and gets caught up. See that a lot, get the legs caught up underneath him. He's up. Shake of the head usually means I'm okay.
And we'll come out for at least a couple of plays. Our ICT and Game of the Week. We've got 2 for you next week. Homecoming for Mac as they entertain Marcus, and we close it out with the Vikings And the Tigers from the 38, it's 2nd and 4. Newsom will keep it and is high load at the 39-yard line, just able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
McGee might have missed the tackle, but he did slow him down. McGee, number 11, came across, lowered the shoulder on him. Didn't wrap him up, but slowed him down enough to get a couple of his teammates to come in and make the tackle, including Medeiros, number 19, who plays one of the corners.
3rd and 3. Newsom will throw on 3rd down, caught in traffic at the 29-yard line, and a first down. Wrestled down by Jalen Oliver, number 1, but that's Deshaun Kincaid, number 13.
Well, that's the 3rd catch here in the second half for Kincaid. A rifle shot there. Actually had another guy behind Kincaid, but 13's become his favorite target here in the second half.
From the 22, Lockhart. Lockhart stood up at the 22. Gain of about 5. 5:46 to go in the 3rd quarter. 14-7. Lewisville on top.
It's 2nd and 5 from 22.
And a timeout taken with 5:42 remaining, and Lewisville facing a 2nd and 5.
I think it's Sands again, number 20 down for Nimitz. It's an official's timeout. And maybe the legs cramping up again. Talking about Lewisville, John, and how they seem to turn things around offensively here in the second half. The passing game has opened up the running game. And Lockhart seems to have some space to run more than he did in the first half. But it's those passing yards, the little 10 hitch routes, the hooks, the little quick down and outs. They're just moving the ball methodically down the field.
You're right. They've done a nice job of setting up the run with the pass. And Lockhart getting on track here in the 3rd quarter. A slow limp to the sidelines. Juan Sands. 2nd and 5 from the 22. Same 3 receivers, same running back. Lockhart. Here's Newsom winding up, going deep, and caught for the touchdown. That's Dalen Clark. A 22-yard strike to Clark from Newsom.
22 yards.
Well, that's the second time that combination have struck gold, and it wasn't a bad defense by Wheeler. I mean, he went high to try to tip that ball away.
The score coming almost exactly 3 minutes from their last touchdown. And the extra point is booted through. And our new score, 5:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter, 21-7 Lewisville.
That shot, nice. Right over Oliver. It was Oliver out there having to play in the secondary. We've seen Oliver play end and linebacker, and they've got him deep playing safety, and just couldn't jump high enough. I mean, Oliver got up there. It was just a perfectly thrown ball and a great catch, and that's how it's done.
For Newsom, his 7th touchdown pass. For Clark, his 4th touchdown reception on the year. And now a 2-touchdown lead. And Nimitz just hadn't been able to do anything here in the 3rd quarter.
Newsom now 10 out of 17. About 150 yards passing. Clark with 137 of those. And the Lewisville offense is clicking, and the Nimitz offense is going in reverse right now.
Chadwell and Kuba set to kick off. Number 40. Back deep, Evans and Wheeler are a couple together at the 4. And this is Wheeler at the 5. To the 19. Taken down by Elijah Benson, number 48.
if Lewisville is keying so much on Nelms, maybe it's time to use him as a decoy and start working other avenues as there's a penalty flag down.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. 5 yards added to the end of the kick. First down.
So an illegal formation by Lewisville. 5 yards tacked on after the run. So that'll put it down to the 30. You have to have 5 aside, I believe.
They gave the illegal procedure call, and that is the right call on the kickoff. So we'll start from the 25. Possession number 3 in the second half. Let's see if Jernigan maybe become a little more active with Sanchez here in the third quarter and Ponce go to the air. On first down, he will keep it. That's not going to do it. Ponce wrapped up 4 yards behind the line. Just pick a number coming through.
Nuramo, he was the first, I think, to grab him and wrestle him down. They have just, it's night and day, John, defensively. Nope, there's one guy going after the running back, and then there's the linebackers and defensive ends to key on the quarterback. Everyone has a man, basically. And if you're not blocked, then it's going to be a tough row to hoe for Nimitz.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Ponce looking for an avenue, and the door closes at the 19. They keep shoving back the other way on every play. They are retreating, and now Mac Evans into the play number 4. Loss of 3.
University number 33. We've called his name a couple of times here in the second half. Plays like a defensive tackle. These numbers that have changed, John. 30s are defensive tackles, and wide receivers are in the teens. It's topsy-turvy, I tell you.
From the 10, Ponce breaks one. Penalty marker down, and trying to get it outside to Chris Bennett, number 12. A couple of flags dropped near the 15. You're right, I've seen some defensive tackles numbers of 9 and 8 previous games.
See if this is a hold against Nimitz. Ponce gets up a little gingerly as well after being sacked on the throw. And waiting on the call.
Stay there, Tim. Shot block. Number 6 and number 58 on the offense. That penalties decline. Fourth down.
So Armio and Nelms were together, made contact with the defensive player at the same time, chop block. Lewisville will refuse, and the odds are, John, Lewisville's going to be in Nimitz's end of the field once again.
Penalty decline, 4th and 15. Need to have a pretty decent punt out of Reyes. End over end, hits at the Lewisville 43, goes sideways and will be touched at the 42-yard line. That's an action downfield, but no flag. They'll start from their own 42, their third possession of the quarter, leading 21-7, 3:43 to go.
Got a flag, John. Far sideline around the 30. Again, 7 officials tonight, unlike the 5.
That's a good 20 yards away from the ball.
Part of me says I like the extra officials so no one can get away with something on the weak side or the blind side. The other part of me is they throw too many flags because they catch everything.
It's 2 extra eyes to see another infraction.
It's like when they added that 3rd official in basketball. I believe it's going to go against Lewisville. It might be a tacked on 15 back.
Holding. Number 48 on the defense. That penalties decline. First down at the end of the kick.
Well, I guess since it was during the kick, they did.
offensive holding.
Didn't give him the option to add the 10 yards after the play. I guess it has to be a possession, but I thought as soon as you kick it, if there's a holding while the ball's in the air, they can add the 10 yards after the play. And maybe they're discussing that even more now. It should go back another 10.
Well, unless the center was touched by the defender. They're still discussing it at the 42-yard line.
Well, if he's not going to say, here we go.
Correction on the enforcement. Penalty being enforced 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
Okay, there we go. You get one right every now and then.
All right, that'll place it down near the 30-yard line.
Oh, they don't know what to do, John. Their backs are against the wall.
Starting in their own territory for the first time in the second half at the 32. Quick handoff to Lockhart and tossed down hard by Oliver.
First time we've called Oliver's name. He will play up on the line. That's what surprised me that time, that he was back having to guard someone on that long pass. Let's see if the Vikings can make some adjustments of their own.
No gain, second and 10. Motion in the line. Here come the flags, 2-3 of them. Lewisville may have jumped the gun.
I think Oliver was drawn
Full
off.
start. Number 72 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Procedure on the Fighting Farmers. That'll place it at the 27.
Spencer Nielsen.
That's the guilty party.
Mm-hmm.
Second and 15. We move inside of 3 minutes. 3 receivers wide left. From their own 27 on second down. Lockhart going deep, left side, contact, and here come the flags at the 40-yard line. Intended for number 9, Winfield. He was tied up right at the 40-yard line.
Think he would have caught it anyway?
Boy, he had about a step and a half on the defender.
Pass interference. Number 16 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Only the second penalty tonight.
See if there's some separation. A little bit.
I don't think he'd have caught it.
No,
He wouldn't have caught it.
no, you're right. It was to the left of him and
No.
too wide. They go back to the line of scrimmage, mark off the 15 yards. That places it at the 42.
That's the only positive in high school ball. When you get called for pass interference, it's just 15 yards.
But it should be. You should go back to the line of scrimmage and not and
Not at the
give up
point.
that many yards.
Yeah.
Wide open, caught at the 45 and close to a first down. Number 9, Armani Winfield. And it is a first down. Pass and catch of 11 yards. From the 40. Swing pass beyond number 13, Kincaid. It'll be second and 10.
The next attempt by Newsom will be his 20th. And we're still in the third quarter.
Came in completing 46%. Now over 620 yards for the year. 2 touchdown passes tonight.
He pretty much has 3 targets. Clark, Winfield, and Kincaid.
9, 13, and 5. From the 40 of Nimitz. Newsom running. He will keep it. 35, 30, to the 29 and a first down. Runs for close to a dozen yards. Move the chains. First and 10, Lewisville. 2:21 to go here in the third.
Flush from the pocket. Brian Rios makes a really nice tackle here, fighting off the block, grabbing him around the waist. I don't think Newsom thought he had a chance to be tackled as he went past his teammate.
Got Right around Winfield, number 9, to make the tackle from the 29. Lockhart with a quick count. So Newsom with a quick count. The fake to Lockhart, and Newsom will keep it, turns it upfield 20. Newsom first down 15, avoids one, evades another, and is slammed down hard at the 12. Runs for 17 yards and another first down.
Well, back-to-back big runs by the quarterback. We didn't see him do much of anything running-wise in the first half, just flushed out of the pocket. But tonight, or at least the last couple of plays, up the middle.
Here's Lockhart. Lockhart angles it to the 5. Gains 7, winding down to a minute and a half. From the 5, it is 2nd and 3. Lockhart over left tackle. Lockhart with a nose dive to the 3. Underneath it looked like Escobar.
A lot of players for Nimitz on their knees trying to catch a breath, and I think that's why Lewisville was in such a quick offensive move, and now we got a new quarterback.
They have scored 2 touchdowns here.
Going the Wildcat. Owebanji in now, number 3.
Abraham Owebanji. He will take it and cross the double stripe. 2 yards out. Owebanji. Well, that was a huge crevice that just opened up. And an easy score for the Fighting Farmers.
Nimitz is just gassed. They're tired. This quarter has not been a friend to theirs defensively. They've been on the field a lot. And you could tell there in that last series, John, just how tired this group of guys have been. Owebanji just nothing but a fake and a keep, and one missed tackle and he scores. Fresh legs right there.
On an opening, and just skips through the defenders. And
yep, Jalen Oliver got a hand on it. Oliver's played 3 quarters and is dead tired, and Owebanji comes in and touches the ball for the first time tonight and scores rather easily.
3 scores in this third quarter, and it's 28-7. A couple of runs and a pass.
It's been a while since Lewisville has been successful in football. Powerhouse years and years ago. But like everything else, sometimes the talent and the numbers go to the other Lewisville schools, like Hebron is one of them.
Yeah, but they didn't get their picture on a Cheerios cereal box back in 1996. State champions on the Cheerios box. A team picture in 1996.
Not bad.
I don't think that's ever happened to another high school in the state. Gathered in at the 4-yard line by Mac Evans. Evans is drawn and quartered at the 13. Ruled him down even though the ball popped loose. And that's where Nimitz begins here, as some words exchanged, some pushing, shoving, and some separation. And Nimitz retreats, as do a couple of the Fighting Farmers. They'll have none of that with 45 seconds to go in the third. 3 possessions and 3 scores for Lewisville. 2 of those coming when they started drives from the Nimitz 45. 4th possession here in the period for Nimitz. Not much at all happening offensively. Vaughn Sands back in at the running back spot. So apparently he's okay. Ponce will give it to Sands, and Sands going nowhere, is tossed back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is a different defensive group out there, the way they're playing here in the second half. They're stopping Nimitz right at the line of scrimmage. They're guarding all the options, whether it's the quarterback, the running back. There's somebody on either player, and that hole's just not there. I don't know if they've added personnel change some keys. But whatever, John, they're going to let the clock run out, and Nimitz has a lot of catching up to do with and only 1 quarter to do it.
The play clock and the game clock were both in sync, and now all zeros as we go to the fourth. All Lewisville here in the third quarter as we head to the fourth quarter. Our score, Lewisville 28 and the Vikings of Nimitz 7.
End of the third quarter. And
First play of the fourth quarter from the 14-yard line, second down and 10. A pass play intended for number 17, Edgar Sanchez, will bring up third down.
Got a flag. I don't know if they're going to call a late hit or they're going to call a ineligible receiver downfield, as Ivan Herrera, number 72, looked to be past the line of scrimmage.
He's the offensive right guard.
And now they're going to pick it back up. That's good.
So ring up third and 10 from the 14-yard line. And Sands stays in, number 20. We have not seen Nelms except for a couple of series here in the second half. Ponce backpedals on third down. Here's an inside screen to the 20 and out near the 24-yard line.
First
Nice
time
run by Wheeler.
Yeah, first time we've seen Brandon. He likes to run the slot. And coming off the slot, he ran the receiver screen, and they're going to go for it, I think, here on 4th and 1.
Fourth down and about a half a yard.
Good call.
Got away from Halter, number 45. On fourth down, needing about a half a yard. And Sands over left tackle and has the first down. Regardless of the outcome tonight, Rob, you got to give Juan Sands just 4 gold stars, and he's slow to get up.
He's banged up. The leg is just not letting him do anything.
Has done yeoman's work and then some in this contest as Lewisville, out of respect, they take a knee.
Nelms will go back out to replace Sands. Tough runner. Really a tough runner. Farmers have the #1 scoring defense in the district, allowing just 17 points a ball game. MacArthur in second at as well, just over 17, along with Coppell. They're kind of right there at second and third place defensively. Flower Mound giving up about 22 a game, and Nimitz averaging about 30, and they're right about that spot right now at 28.
Well, Sands being carried to the sidelines, so in all probability he has played his last play tonight. Just underway in the fourth quarter. We were tied at 7 at the break, but 3 quick scores in the third period by the Fighting Farmers, and almost an insurmountable lead at 28-7. But they convert on 4th and short. They have it at the 26. And number 6, Christian Nelms in the backfield. Ponce pumps once, will throw, and no one there, over the head. And then some of Brandon Wheeler. He had double coverage at the 45. So nothing there. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Nimitz had close to 100 yards rushing as a team in the first half. They've rushed for about 10 yards here in the second.
Fighting Farmers after tonight will have games with Hebron and Marcus. That's how they close out the regular season. Short.
No flag, huh?
Intended for Jernigan. He went down and looks like some contact, but no flag, no whistle. It'll bring up third.
Right in front of two officials who kept the hankies in the back pocket. Ponce with plenty of time.
Right near the feet of Hister, number 10. From the 26, 3rd and 10. Ponce nowhere to go and nowhere to hide as snowed under at the 25.
Glad to hear they still play the horse.
Cliff Nobles lives.
Glad to hear it. Nimitz band. Again, congratulations to Sunny Garcia, this year's homecoming queen. It was announced at halftime.
Senior. 4 consecutive punts by the Vikes here in the second half. Dalen Clark back deep. It turns over, hits at the 49, rolls about 21 yards and will be down at the 25. So the deep punt with the roll. That's where the Farmers set up shop with 10:02 to go in the game. Trying to go to 6-2 overall, 4-1 in the district.
Looking at the Dallas Morning News 6A poll, a couple of teams in the district. They have Coppell and Flower Mound there, but you would think if Lewisville defeated Coppell, they should be over Coppell, right? Allen, Duncanville, South Lake. South Lake surprising 7-0, and the Buffaloes halt them. They're up there too. That's the Cinderella story in my book.
Good year for the Buffs. This one dropped. It's not a lateral. A forward pass intended for Kincaid. Nimitz quarterback, senior Aiden Ponce. Now you had indicated as we look across the way to see their mascot, Big John, the resemblance to Pistol Pete at Oklahoma State. Only a different kind of a big head. This one is maroon, Pistol Pete's in orange. Very similar. From the 25, 2nd and 10. Straight ahead, Lockhart. Lockhart to the 29. They may give him the 30. They do. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Hasn't been easy for Mr. Lockhart. The only thing, maybe the one touchdown. But he is.
There he is.
Not even at 50. There he is. He looks like he's upset about something.
But do you see the resemblance of Pistol Pete at Oklahoma State?
Well, maybe the hat's not as big.
Nice job.
Pistol Pete.
5 and 5. From the 30, needing 5 here on 3rd down.
If you're a farmer, what are you fighting? The bugs?
Well, back when it was a rural community, you had a lot of things to contend with. Here are 2 flags dropped as soon as the ball is snapped to the quarterback.
Timeout, Lewisville. That's their first timeout.
And a timeout called to save the penalty. Yeah, are you fighting the drought?
The weather inclement.
Yeah, the bugs. What are you fighting as a farmer?
The will to survive.
Okay.
Back then,
I can see that. So far, and you look at that first score, and you go, they lost to the Gophers. And you thought, oh, it's going to be, another long year. But then they bounced back good against Sam Houston, McKinney Boyd. Played tough against Flower Mound, and then they edged one out over the Cards, beat the Cowboys, and took care of business against Irving, and it appears also Nimitz. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. That'll let you know how things stack up.
Temperature in the low 50s here on homecoming night, late October.
It's past her bedtime. You think?
Well, it's a school night. This game being played on a Thursday.
It is a school night. John, 9 o'clock is the new midnight.
Is that what it is?
It is.
Central time?
Mm-hmm.
Showing blitz on 3rd down. Penalty flag dropped as Newsom has to ad-lib and loses 3 yards, but
it's going to be offsides against Nimitz. I think Oliver.
Or Salazar on the
ball.
tackle. Penalty flag is on the play.
Side number 1, and that's going to give Louisville
defense.
First
Number
down.
67.
That'll give them
5 yard
5
penalty results
yards.
in a first down.
Placed at the 35 and a first down.
Now they call it on Mark Lopez, sophomore.
He moves the ball up to the 35-yard line.
There he is there.
First down and 10.
Big fella on the middle. Also saw some movement on the outside as well, though.
Kincaid and Winfield both sprint to the far side on 1st and 10.
New running back, Thigpen.
Number 23 has 10 yards. 29. That's
Thigpen.
Lester Thigpen, a junior.
Lester Thigpen on the carry.
So Lester Thigpen in relief of Josh Lockhart on 1st down inside the 45.
Thigpen again on the carry.
And the second carry for number 29.
2 carries, 22 yards.
First and 10 from Nimitz 42.
Quickly up to the line of scrimmage. The down marker wasn't set yet, but Thigpenner's a late flag. Down marker just
Thigpen
able to get set up along with the first down chains at the 42-yard line.
Number 77 in the offense.
this one coming
10-yard
back
penalty.
On
Replay
the
second down.
offensive hold.
Jeremy Jones. Number 77, there he is.
Luis Cruz, number 71, going to come out as a defensive tackle for the Vikes. Penalty yardage stepped off. That places it down at the 48.
second down.
7 penalties,
First down 20.
60 yards for Louisville.
2nd and 17 at their own 48. Thigpen cuts it back against the flow and carries it to the Viking 47.
Lester Thigpen.
So Josh Lockhart, who scored earlier in this half, is out, and Thigpen in, a junior for a senior.
Nimitz 48.
That's a gain of 4. It's 3rd and 13.
Second down.
Another one of those legends, supposedly, is that back in the 40s, members of the Louisville football team chased down an armed bank robber.
I believe that.
And, that's how legends are made.
Inside toss to Winfield and thrown down hard at the 50-yard line by number 11, Micah McGee. Here's another legend. Near Louisville, back in the 70s, you could travel I-35 and get here in about 20 minutes.
They also
Wasn't that much traffic.
they also threw an event that was almost as big as Woodstock in Louisville not long after Woodstock. Big bands came here and everything.
4th, or rather 3rd, and about 60, a little over 14. Newsom avoids one tackle and throws at the last minute and caught at the 30-yard line. Able to dial up number 9, Amari Winfield. Newsom was almost out of bounds, let it go at midfield, and got Winfield, and Winfield slow to get up.
About a 25-yard pitch and catch. Watch this. He'll direct Winfield, like, go across, go toward me. And there's what all good receivers should do when their quarterback's in trouble, and that is just run toward their quarterback.
Newsom's momentum carried him out of bounds, but able to get the pass off and another first down. But this one at a cost.
At halftime, Louisville had 4 first downs. Now they've got one shy of 20. This will show you how things have changed. They rushed for 16 yards in the first half. They're now close to 100. They only attempted 9 passes. Now they're up to 21, but they've completed 12 of those. They only completed 3 in the first half. And they're pretty close to 200 yards of passing offense as well. And we talked about this a little bit, is that in the first half, They had some receivers that dropped some passes.
Winfield did, and Kincaid also. Rolling over is Winfield, number 9.
Well, he's moving, and that's a good sign. I mean, they're not keeping the legs or the arms straight because they're afraid of an injury that way. He might have just got his bell rung. Look at some most points by the Farmers. Back in 55, they scored 93 on Justin Northwest. In the 40s, they beat Alvoyd 67 House, and then Azel, R.L. Turner. Irving at the number 5 spot there of the most points that the Fighting Farmers have put on the board.
Back then, a lot of players went both ways. You didn't have as big a roster as you have now, and it was a running game. Trying to get up in a sitting position is Armani Winfield, and they have done that, but still they want to be very cautious here.
I think he got his bell rung. If they ask him, who are you playing tonight, he might say Henrietta.
Or if he answers, I'm a senior.
Uh-huh.
They're staying down. But the freshman now up. Question, he answered the right question.
He must have. He must have.
Okay, that ball is spotted at the 24-yard line of Nimitz. It's 1st and 10 and leading 28-7. Lewisville about to win their 4th game in a row and go to 4-1 in the district. Again, they were a preseason pick to finish 5th in that district. Right now, the district leader is Flower Mound. They're undefeated at 4-0. All right, Newsom stays in there, as does number 29, Lester Thigpen, from the 24-yard line. It's Thigpen inside the 20 and dragged down at the 15.
He's been averaging close to 10 yards every time he touches the football.
It'll be 2nd and a yard. Keep the clock moving if you're a Fighting Farmer fan, and get out of here with a win. 5:40 to go. Play clock down to 15. 2nd and short from the 15. From the spread, A.J. Newsom, and he will hand it off to Thigpen, trying to bounce to the outside. He does. Thigpen inside the 5 and carries it down to the 2. 13 yards on the pickup. It's 1st and goal. This drive started at their own 25.
So you're the starter in Lockhart. Play most of the game and you get 46 yards, and you say, okay, Thigpen, your turn. He carries it 4 times for 44 yards. Now, sure, it's late in the game, the players are tired, but still, it gives Lewisville options in the backfield.
1st and goal. Thigpen forward to the 1. Able to get out of a couple of tackles at the line of scrimmage and plow straight ahead for a yard. Second and goal. There's Thigpen again in relief of Josh Lockhart. With 4:20 to play. Play clock down to 3. Newsom, they do get it off. Here's Thigpen and dragged down at about the half-yard line. Taken down by Cody Sullivan. Or, no, it's 58 on the stop. Armijo.
That works for Lewisville, believe it or not. It's like clock management. You're just trying to drain the clock as much as you can. Thigpen thought he had a touchdown. You know, if he would have stretched the arms out, he might have got it.
3rd and goal from the half-yard line. Newsom will run, and the Farmers have planted another crop. It is now 34-7. A 1-yard run by senior A.J. Newsom. Four touchdowns here in the second half from Fancio. 75-yard drive. And the extra points is perfect. And our new score with 3:34 to play, Lewisville 35 and the Nimitz Vikings 7.
Well, after a heavy dose of Thigpen, Newsom gets the call close to the goal line. So you got the numbers on their helmets, kind of like Penn State, Alabama there on one side. It comes right at us, stretches the ball over the end zone, and the drill team gets to do a routine and cheer as their Farmer football team has opened up a nice 28-point lead that was so tight in the first half.
It was a great first half. You had no idea what would happen in the second 24 minutes, but it has been all maroon and gray. And they'll kick off as the Vikings will fall to 0-5 in district play, 3-5 overall.
But when we have Nimitz next time against Irving, you can forget everything that's happened throughout the year, and we're 9 times out of 10 thoroughly entertained when those two teams play each other.
That'll be the season finale on ICT, and this one goes out of bounds.
Also, another good one we'll have before that is Marcus and MacArthur. Coach Mullins and company have really turned things around after a rough year or so, after taking over for Basil. And he has that team playing pretty good ball. He has 2 quarterbacks to choose from. And Marcus is a good team. They pretty much mirror each other. They have probably the same type of athletes on the team. And we should be in for a pretty good show.
The quarterback, number 18, Anthony Bastillo. And he will turn and hand it off, and nothing at all. Number 22, Lewis Gruhl. New quarterback and new running back. Steele, a junior. Luis also a junior. 2nd and 10 as we close in on 3 minutes. Viking Farmers will elevate their season record now to 6-2. No gain at all, number 50, Mung.
You know, they're winning the games they're supposed to, and they got a couple of toughies toward the end of the season. We'll see just where they kind of stack up in the district playoffs. Talked about some surprise teams, Halton being one of them. Coppell, they won, was it last week or the week before, on a hook and ladder, last play of the game to escape a win. They're fighting for a playoff spot as well.
3rd and 9. It'll be 4th down. Oh, they dealt out some punishing tackles as the Lewisville D here in the second half. It's number 94, Brian Parker, senior. So 5 consecutive punts here in the second half for the Vikings. It looked so promising at the beginning of the year. The Vikings defeating Richardson, Carrollton Smith, and Creekview. And then the district opening loss to Hebron 40-21. Barely lost to Marcus 27-23. Here's a punt. And getting away from it is Kevin Anderson, the new return man, number 2. As it goes out of bounds with 1:27 to play.
Although things aren't working out for Nimitz right now, they did score the most points in school history for Creekview, 58-0. In 95, they put 56 on MacArthur. Boy, that 95 team had to feel pretty good about themselves, defeating an arch rival like MacArthur that big. Also had 56 points against the Tigers of Mansfield back in 92.
Gabe Ellis is a new quarterback, and getting the handoff is our 3rd different running back tonight for the Fighting Farmers. Another new quarterback running back tandem. That's TJ Daniels. Daniels is a senior, and Gabe Ellis is a junior. Ellis also a wide receiver. 1 minute to go. 2nd and 9, time for a couple more plays, barring a penalty on the defense, and that'll put a capper on this one. They came in averaging 26. They got 35 tonight. On 2nd down and crossing the 30, TJ Daniels was piled up at the 32. Vikings came in giving up 30. They give up 5 more than that tonight. 1 more play, or do they have to?
They do not have to.
No, they don't. Fighting Farmers, as the Vikings already lining up in single file at midfield, and they'll just let it go, and that will do it as they put 21 on the board in the 3rd, 7 more in the 4th quarter, as Lewisville wins it 35-7. Rob, it truly was a tale of 2 halves.
Indeed, after 2 quarters of play, you thought maybe the Nimitz Vikings had an answer to Lewisville. They kept them on the ropes defensively, and then as an offensive unit, even without their star running back, they were able to move the football. But some adjustments were made in the second half, and Nimitz was derailed offensively and ran out of gas defensively, and thus you get outscored by 28 points.
35-7, our final score. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. John Nelson back with Rob Willman as head coach Brian Rogers and the Vikings in huddle at the 20-yard line following a 35-7 loss. It was all knotted up at 7 apiece at halftime. A nice offensive and defensive struggle for both teams, but 4 touchdowns here in the second half by the Fighting Farmers. The first, a Josh Lockhart 9-yard run to make it 14-7. A.J. Newsom, 22 yards to Dalen Clark with 5:20 to go in the 3rd. That made it 21-7. Ibrahim Oibanje from down close takes it in from 2 yards out to make it 28-7. And then a 75-yard drive capped off by the A.J. Newsom 1-yard run. That came with 3:34 to go in the game and make it 35-7. Nimitz punted 5 times in the second half. Fighting Farmers have the edge in first downs. They were 12 of 21 in passing for 208 yards. On the ground, 131, and a total of 339. 0 turnovers, 6 flags for 55 yards. Aside from Nimitz's 9 first downs, they were 5 of 13 up top for just 49, held 88 on the ground, 137 all told, 0 turnovers, and 3 flags for 30 yards. 35-7 was your final, and again, Rob, night and day from the first half to the second half.
The Farmers made the adjustments. The Vikings didn't, and it's a cliche, I know, but it's just life's lessons here, and Nimitz just has to get this behind them. They got a couple more games left. They got a crosstown rival to end the season, so try to find out what you did wrong and get it right and try to end the season on a high note.
A couple of games next week on IC10 to wrap up our broadcast season. But once again tonight, it was all Lewisville in the second half as they go to 4-1 in district play. 35-7 your final. Our thanks to both head coaches, the athletic department here at the Irving Independent School District, our award-winning production crew from ICTN. 35-7 your final. For Rob Willman, this is John Nelson saying good night from Irving.